The need for Africans to unite and forge special ties with people from the diaspora took center stage at this year's Wreath-Laying to commemorate Panafest and Emancipation Day celebrations. The ceremony was reminiscent of the trafficking and displacement of Africans during the slave trade era and the ultimate success of emancipation after persistent struggle.
Panafest is a cultural event dedicated to the enhancement of the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the development of the African continent. It is a period to reflect on the horrors of the trans-African slave trade and remind Africans of the struggle of their forefathers and learn from history. A wreath-laying ceremony, which forms part of activities for this year's Panafest and Emancipation Day, began at the Du Bois Center, George Padmore Library, and finally to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. Wreaths were laid in honor of the three gallant men who paved the way for African liberation by the youth of Africa: African American Association, Ghana Caribbean Association, African Diplomatic Corps, traditional rulers, and the government and people of Ghana. The Minister for Tourism, Madam Akwasena Dansoa, said government is committed to fighting and eliminating any form of forced labor and uphold the freedom of individuals in the country.
The leadership of His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills will continue to focus on his Better Ghana agenda to create opportunity for every Ghanaian to develop in freedom and obtain better quality of life. This is why government places premium on deepening democracy and good governance, so as to eliminate inequality and injustice in our society.
The chairman of the Council of State, Professor Kofi Awuno, reaffirmed the importance of African unity and the need to welcome people of the diaspora back home.
Our ancestral uncles and grandfathers and grandmothers have their bones lying in the fields of Jamaica, in Alabama, in Haiti, and elsewhere in the so-called New World. But the reality is, if we see our brothers and sisters come home, we must embrace them, welcome them with the famous African spirit of hospitality.
Representatives from the African American Association of Ghana and the Ghana Caribbean Association commended Ghana for supporting the festival since 1998. This year's Panafest and Emancipation celebrations is on the theme Reuniting the African Family, Challenges and Prospects. The series of activities will end on the 3rd of August.
A visually impaired and internationally acclaimed musician, Steve Wonder, was among personalities that were honored during the 6th Annual African International Media Summit Awards night. They were honored for their achievement and contributions towards the development of Africa. The others are Zenona Clayton, described as one of the first African-American media executives, and Drolo Nene Boso-Adamte, chairman of the African Leadership Conference.
The awards ceremony was attended by people from all walks of life, including Africans in the diaspora and Queen Mothers. Established in 2005, AIMS is intended to facilitate discussions among various stakeholders on how members of the diaspora can help change the image of Africa and play a role in the development of the continent. At this year's awards night, three living legends, Steve Wonder, an African-American musician, Zenona Clayton, one of the first African-American media executives, and Drolo Nene Boso-Adamte, chairman of the African Leadership Conference, were honored. The Deputy Minister for Tourism, Mr. James Ejenim Boateng, reiterated government support and commitment towards the work of AIMS and Africans in the diaspora as a whole.
Over the last many years, I'm sure you have seen and taken notice of the government's own commitments towards diasporan affairs and relations. Indeed, throughout the world, Ghana remains the only country which has given full accreditation in terms of diplomatic status to diasporan affairs, of which Her Excellency Dr. Erica Bennett represents the diasporan community here in Ghana. That is a testimony of Ghana's own commitment to making sure that our brothers and sisters throughout the world can reconnect with the mother continent, and more particularly with Ghana.
The night ended with the lighting of candles to signify peace, unity and prosperity in Africa.
In other news, the